let's talk about plant medicine. That could be a big topic there.
Yeah.
So for someone who was super heady yourself, like a lawyer, software engineer, and turned coach, how did you ended up choosing plant medicine as a path?
The interesting thing is that while a software developer and a lawyer, I was abusing substances like crazy. And I'm pretty responsible, so I never let myself get into anything like cocaine or crystal meth or anything that was like really the potential. I'm aware I'm habit forming, so it's like I'll stay out from those hardcore things. But like pot, alcohol, those I used a lot. And as a youth, as a youth, that's a weird way to put it. As a kid, I'd eaten mushrooms with friends just to get fucked up, but there's no reverence around any of this. It was just something to do to get high and to feel what I was not able to feel in my life. That's why I was consuming substances as a lawyer. Was I'd shut that heart off to such an extent. I was using substances to bypass the structures I'd put in place that kept me in prison. What started to happen was sounds funny, but I just felt called in these directions. I had this thought like, I'd like to revisit psilocybin, but with a lot more reverence, with some ceremony around it, some structure. And ayahuasca was this thing that I started hearing about it, and people would show up in my life that would be I'd meet someone who was a shaman and they'd be like, hey, you should come sit in ceremony with me. And I'd think, you don't feel like this. Your being doesn't feel clean. You feel a little weird or sketchy. I'm not going to trust you. And the way I ended up sitting in ceremony was a friend of mine said, hey, I'm going to Costa Rica in December. Do you want to come? And I was like, automatic yes, let's do it. And then I later found out it was to this week-long retreat center that was all about ayahuasca. And I was like, oh, great. It just came into existence. On the one hand, you could say accidentally is the way that I found my way to it as a mature man, but I think it's a little woo woo, but I think more accurate would be that I just started to feel more and more called in that direction and I heeded the call.